said, here's Epstein's cell door. It's not!
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
But fortunately, I was not one of them.
Caroline Leavitt took off her cross today. This is what Epstein built on his island. I will never be silenced. That no federal prosecution will occur in this matter as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement. If there's nothing here to expose, why are they holding it up like it's a big trophy or something?
And that really shows that our government, unfortunately, wants to stop it there.
So she's in jail for it.
Yes.
So
who were the clients?
Yeah.
In this video, I'm going to give you an update on everything you need to know regarding this man right here, Jeffrey Epstein. First of all, let's take a look at this clip right here, and I have a lot more very in-depth information to go through, but the Hodge twins put this tweet out where they said, Pam Bondi embarrasses herself with this excuse, and Trump acts like the Epstein case ain't a big deal. This is a terrible look for the Trump admin. Let me know what you think about this. Let's take a look.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the stabbing?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Sure.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Now, one thing I do agree with Trump there is that Jeffrey Epstein is a creep. But what I find absolutely fascinating about this is that many of the people who voted for Trump expected the Trump administration to release the documents because they literally said they were going through the files and were going to expose what had taken place. And now Trump seems to be trying to brush it under the rug. And it's a little bit strange, a little strange. Let me know if you agree in the comment section below.
Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
Now, regarding him being an agent, I actually have something to show you. Here is a tweet with an official file attached to it, and it says, wow, FBI was investigating 36 young girls Epstein had done this to and trafficked until Epstein agreed to rat out Wall Street hedge fund execs for laundering money. Then feds agreed to bury the federal charges. Here, FBI admits Epstein is their informant. Now you understand why they are hiding stuff. So this could actually be the key to the entire situation about why the Epstein files are not coming out. But I believe it's far deeper than that. And I believe that people are just covering for other people because there are so many people implicated that if this information came out, you know, all the quote unquote conspiracy theorists continually talk about, they would be exposed. Whoever they are, right? Whoever you want to call them. Not going to use any trigger words because you know how things are these days. But take a look at this. It says Epstein has always provided information to the FBI as agreed upon. Case agent advised that no federal prosecution will occur in this matter as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement with the state of Florida. So to me, that's pretty clear that Epstein is at least an informant. At least, possibly more, but at least an informant.
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
And that's it on Epstein? So no list, no flight logs, none of the promises that they said they was going to fulfill are going to be fulfilled under the Trump administration, apparently. Hopefully that isn't true. Hopefully they will do more when the pressure is piled on them. But it seems like right now they are really trying to avoid releasing certain information. I came across this video that I found pretty funny. Take a look at this. Hillary Clinton. It was Hillary. It was Hillary, everyone. No, but on a serious note, here's a man named Benny Johnson who does a great job explaining this situation and what they are actually hiding. Okay, so I want to show you this. Take a look.
Now let's look at the screenshot from the video the DOJ shared. So you can see here that the officer would have been able to see Epstein's cell door and cell block. So when they say the officers fell asleep, they said that for a reason.
Seems like a pretty big coincidence, falling asleep on the job when they are supposed to be guarding one of the most high-profile prisoners in America at the time.
They knew that the officers that were stationed there would be able to look directly at Epstein's door. They needed an alibi because something bad happened. You immediately notice that whatever this is not the cell block that Epstein was in. Those are not cell doors. In fact, this 10 minutes into the video, a person just comes out of one of those doors with a trash bin and places it in the middle of the floor. So if it's not a cell block, what is this? The space that we're looking at is the common space near the elevator's staircase. I've marked it myself on the diagram below. The red dot is the position where the cameras are. The DOJ released video was recorded. This is the opposite of the officer's station, and in no way could have seen Epstein's cell block, let alone Epstein's cell. Even the one piece of evidence that they released is a lie.
Literally lying to the public, and not even lying very well. They're not even good at deceiving people. It's almost like they want to get caught. So what do you think? Are people actually that stupid, or are they just gaslighting the public? Like literally maxed out gaslighting right now. Let me know what you think.
They said, here's Epstein's cell door. It's not.
It's not. It's not.
The way you can confirm this is the space marked on the schematics and the angle and the shape of the floor that matches the angles that we see in the doors in the video. The door is marked 46. That leads to the main entrance. This is the exit for the entire tier.
Apparently, his cell is actually around here. You see where I'm hovering the mouse right now? Around here, this is where his cell actually was, like around this corner. So yeah, they're just outright lying and deceiving people. And it's disgusting because I know for a fact if they got caught saying this, they would just be like, oh, well, we never said that this specific door was his cell. We just said that this camera is filming his cell block or something stupid like that, right? They always try to just hide what they're actually doing. They leave enough leeway for them to wiggle their way out most of the time. But this Epstein situation does seem to have actually got a little bit out of their control. And that's why they're just trying to shut it down right now. And regarding Trump, it's just a very strange situation, right? What do you think about Trump? What is actually going on with him right now?
So if we go once more to the DOJ footage, you can see that the officer station at the far end. When you zoom in, you see some teeth on the side. You can see them right there. Those teeth are the staircase up to Jeffrey Epstein's cell. You see them right there on the far right-hand side.
Yeah,
guys, is Tom ready? Is Tom set? Okay, great. Okay, we'll move very quickly here. The only thing that we can remotely see in the direction of Epstein's cell block is this silver staircase. You can go up and down the staircase without being seen by the camera. Anyone could have entered Epstein's cell, even in the footage. Now, this is important. Gate 46 is the only way in or out of the SHU cell block floor. Okay, got it. So this is the full entry to the floor. We have 11 hours footage throughout the night with that one missing minute. So you must prove that nobody entered or exited the floor, right? But the obvious question is, how do we know that someone wasn't there beforehand? How do we know someone wasn't in before the DOJ video started? By all measures, you could have stayed in Epstein's cell block. You could have actually not been seen by the camera or the guard if you had just hidden inside of the utility closet or the crawl space. Right there. There's Epstein's door, and there is a unlocked security closet. And there is the broken camera. So, of course, we have no footage of what actually happened. We have no footage of Epstein's door. It's all a lie. And the footage that we're seeing is the entirety of the cell block. Anyone could have entered Epstein's actual tier.
Literally.
And that's the one piece of evidence we got with zero explanation. And I cannot emphasize enough what an insult that is.
And I believe they deliberately didn't explain. In fact, it's pretty obvious that they didn't explain what people are looking at. So they would just assume, oh, look, it's Epstein's cell. And then people just be like, oh, look, nothing happened. And that missing 1 minute is just extremely suspicious. Extremely suspicious.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
Grab something epic at www.saintavs.com.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
So is he backtracking now? Is he saying that he had no problem with doing it, but now certain people are implicated or some people are compromised maybe, so he doesn't want to deal with it anymore? That's definitely what it seemed like from previous clip that we watched, right? Maybe Epstein possibly being an FBI informant might have something to do with that. And just to get the reality of this situation in perspective once again, look at this. This lady here is a victim and she says she was repeatedly, and she spent the last 17 years in her own prison for what she and Epstein did to her. Pam Bondi failed her. She let them get away with this. Virginia Giuffre apparently self-deleted. Many disagree with this, by the way, and think that something sus happened to her as well. But anyway, she apparently self-deleted, and our justice system has failed her and others. Take a look at this.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
Well, he definitely did die in prison, but how did he die? That's the question, right?
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10. That is how long the sex trafficking ring has been going on.
Absolutely disgusting. And these people are being allowed to get away with it. The list isn't being released. Remember what she said, the co-conspirators as well. There was a lot of other people who were involved in this.
Jeffrey and all the co-conspirators.
See, there were a lot of people involved. And everyone knows this anyway, but it's just very suspicious what's going on right now. CoffeeZilla posted this, by the way. Great exposing YouTuber. And apparently he's a Christian as well. But he said, this photo is so funny in hindsight. WTF were they thinking holding up Epstein files if they have nothing, right? Exactly. If there's nothing here to expose, why are they holding it up like it's a big trophy or something? It's just crazy. Absolutely insane what's going on. And the scripture's clear about this. And that's why it always mind blows me when people are idolizing one person. Scripture says there is none righteous, no, not one. So that includes anyone you can think about. The only righteous one is Christ. You know, we as the body of Christ, we are righteous because of Christ, because he's imputed his righteousness onto us. But you already know my position on that, so praise the Most High. The Hodge twins actually had this to say. Trump telling everyone to just get over the Epstein list is a slap in the face to people that voted for him. He's done a lot of good things, but this is really bad, y'all, and we won't be quiet about it. Yeah, I think that Trump definitely needs to fix up when it comes to this. And I found this very interesting. Caroline Leavitt took off her cross today while talking about the Epstein files. You know, she wears this cross very frequently, so I'm guessing she identifies as a Christian, right? But when she was talking about Epstein, she took the cross off. Now, why would somebody do this? Is it because she was actually convicted about lying to the world's face whilst wearing the cross? Maybe not. Maybe she just forgot to put it on, right? But definitely a little strange. Definitely a little strange. And I definitely agree with what this woman has to say here. She says, Trump is mistaken if he thinks the American people are just going to move on from the Epstein client list. This is too big. 100% is too big. It's not going away. And here's the tweet from Trump himself. The FBI under the direction of Director Kash Patel, the same guy who was literally ripping into the FBI before he was the director and saying that the director actually has the power to release the files unedited, that it's all in his hands, and he was going insane at the Republican Party. But now he's the director. What's he doing? Well, exactly what he was speaking against before. Anyways, and Deputy Director Dan Bongino is back to the basics, locking up criminals and cleaning up America's streets. Now, this is actually really annoying, I'm not going to lie, because Trump is acting here as if these people who did all of these atrocities against children, against women on that island are not criminals, you know? Back to the basics, locking up criminals. Well, what about these criminals that are probably rich criminals, right? Are they somehow exempt from prosecution? Are they too close to the center of the club? Y'all rebuke this wickedness. It's disgusting. And anyone idolizing Trump after this, get a grip, man. Get a grip. And cleaning up America's streets. We have the greatest law enforcement professionals in the world, but politics and corrupt leadership, interesting, right? Corrupt leadership could possibly the ones who are shaking the hands of people who are persecuting Christians continually. Maybe the corrupt leadership are the ones who are lining their own pockets whilst throwing their citizens and victims under the bus. Maybe they're the corrupt leadership. Maybe it's time people wake up to what is really going on in the political systems. Now, of course, I would always say it's better to have somebody on the right in power than the left, because the left just openly promote evil and they just go full storm ahead with evil, right? The right, they are more conservative, but they still have corruption. And anyone who thinks there's no corruption in the right, you need to wake up, man. People idolize these people who are just people. They are not God. Maybe the corrupt leadership are the people who are telling people to forget about criminals while saying that criminals are being locked up. And I know there's going to be backlash for this because people idolize Trump. That's just the reality. People idolize Trump. And whenever you criticize somebody's idol, they lose their minds because they're basically spiritually attached to that person. Not literally, but in a way, they are spiritually attached to that person to the point where if you criticize that person who's idolizing the other person feels as if they are being criticized. It's just stupidness. But anyways, it goes on to say, we have the greatest law enforcement professionals in the world, but politics and corrupt leadership often prevent them from doing their job. Really? That is no longer the case. So release the files then. And now they have been unleashed to do their jobs. And they are doing just that. Keep it up. Make America safe again. I am interested in what you think about this as well, right? And by the way, I'm not anti-Trump. I actually prefer Trump over the left. That's a fact. But this here is an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. And there's something very, very corrupt going on for sure. Here's a great point from Elon Musk when he went onto the Joe Rogan podcast.
But yeah, I think the public will be rightly frustrated if no one is prosecuted for the Epstein client list. No one at all.
Literally.
Which, no one, like at least, I don't know, the top 5 or something, like some number there should at least be an attempted prosecution of the worst offenders.
Well, particularly if Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for sex trafficking.
Yes.
Because trafficking
that means sex trafficking occurred.
Right. So she's in jail for it.
Yes.
So
who were the clients?
Yeah. Yeah, how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the clients? That sounds kind of insane.
I think, yes, it would. Yes, because
just stunning that they've been able to hold it back for so long.
Well, that's what happens when somebody has so much money that they pretty much control the legal system, right? That's the only way that this is happening, is if the corruption goes all the way to the quote-unquote top.
It's really kind of amazing. Yes. Like when people say that people can't keep secrets, what the fuck are you talking about? Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of these things are not like it's common knowledge, but we don't actually have the proof.
Right.
So the proof is there. I mean, there's lots of videos. Yeah, there's lots. I mean, the dude is like a mountain of whenever they raided Epstein's place, there would have been like a mountain of evidence. Where is that mountain?
Right. What'd you do with it?
Yes. Like who took possession of the evidence?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Right.
The individual.
Yeah. Who did? Where's the names of these people? Why is nobody exposing these names? Trump administration? Why? It's not hard. You must be able to track back to who are the people who are involved with this quote-unquote mountain of evidence. Who has it? Who found it? Who went through it?
The individuals.
Where are the tapes?
Yes.
Now, this video here is very interesting because this lady claims to be one of the victims of Epstein, and I had never heard of her before I stumbled across this today. It says, I was kidnapped by Epstein. Trump promised the list. WTF is it? How many more victims must die? I will never be silenced. And this is literally what she had to say.
Wow, Donald Trump, America, government. Your government kidnapped me. You promised the Epstein list. Victims are being found dead. Hello. I mean, the whole reason you gained presidency, Trump, was because of promising the Epstein list. Are you as much of a liar as them? You know, and thank goodness for Elon Musk for actually standing up for what's right. You know, it's funny how only South Africans stand up, because where are the other 200 Epstein victims? Although maybe they're too frightened to speak out because of the American government. Well, I speak for all of them. I speak for all victims. How dare your government abuse and murder? We'll be coming for you, don't you worry, government. You can sit there and pretend that Epstein didn't exist and that none of this happened, but guess what? We're not that fucking stupid. Don't make us any more angry, otherwise we will come and we will find you. How dare you?
I mean, when something's this sensitive of a topic and people have been through extreme trauma, which I'm guessing this lady would have been if she is a victim of Epstein, I don't even want to criticize anything she's saying there. Just let her express herself, right? And let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. But something I did notice about what she said was that the government kidnapped her, right? Did she say that?
Your government kidnapped me.
What does she mean by this? That's pretty interesting choice of wording there. Now, this actually made me feel a bit sick reading this, but, you know, it could be true, and that's what makes it so disgusting, right? This is what Epstein built on his island. It's pretty creepy. And it says they did more than just in the temple on Epstein Island. He spent a lot of money and effort on getting his temple soundproof for a reason. Now, the sad thing is, I agree that this is probably true, right? They probably did such disgusting things on that island that I don't even want to think about it, really. But Yah rebuked these evil, evil people. And the reason I'm bringing that up, this tweet here, even though it's, you know, a very sensitive topic, is because it goes to show how wicked it is to not release the files and convict the people who were involved in this. It's so evil. So evil. And this man here on the Sean Ryan show actually has a lot to say about it. It's a 2-minute clip and I want to play it for you. And it may explain why a lot of this information is not coming out. Maybe because they're Satanists, and when you say that out loud, you get called a conspiracy theorist. Just maybe.
Yes, they're protecting some very powerful people and a political process.
Maybe those very quote-unquote powerful people are also Satanists.
A political process, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that it makes sense.
Maybe blood is a currency, who knows?
There is a reason why people are asking about this. This is by far, and I'm a supporter, 3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration they've had thus far, and here's the reason why. If you remember the president winning, he had a conversation with Fox News, the great Rachel Campos Duffy, and she asked, Mr. President, 9/11, yes. John F. Kennedy, yes. Epstein, he didn't say yes. He was a little bit hesitant of bringing that information out. Why? So why does his leadership team go out there and are like, we have this information and we're going to release this and Kash, and let me tell you what we have with Pam Bondi out of the state of Florida. She knew everything about Bondi, about Epstein. Why are you fumbling this? Why are you not having an emergency meeting together to conversate and say, hey, we're going to be on the same page with messaging on this. All you have to do is send a message to everybody, say, God, let's have a conference call. Here's what we're going to be saying about this, because this was a very important issue to not 80% of the voters that voted for President Trump, but I think 20% of the voters wanted to know what's going to happen with Epstein, and it's a big letdown. Normally when I come, I give a very positive message. My only suggestion, no more fumbles. You're having the greatest start ever as a president. There's going to be Nobel Prize, but a lot more than that. I believe he has a shot at going down as one of the greatest presidents of all time and competing for some of the top 5 type of lists. But we have to have an emergency meeting and saying collectively, no more fumbles.
And release the list. Prosecute the criminals. No matter how powerful they are, no matter how rich they are, prosecute them.
Let's say the so-called Epstein files released with many of the influencers, there was outrage at every step. So they're not stupid.
But how can you say that thousands of children were raped, but I'm not going to find out who raped them?
Yeah.
How can you say that?
I agree completely.
They said that. By the way, when Pam Bondi went on television and said, I have a videotape of kids getting abused, I followed this case closely, and I know a lot of the people involved, as I've told you.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I didn't know that. Really? Thousands of children got raped?
Yeah.
Who raped them? Where are the rapists? Like, why aren't they in jail? What? This is the Department of Justice.
Yes.
That is so crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I just think it's very dangerous to play around with this stuff. Like, very dangerous.
Well,
I don't want a revolution, but if you wanted a revolution, this is how you would act.
Powerful statement, right? If you wanted a revolution, this is how you would act. Maybe they do want a revolution. Who knows? You know, maybe they're all just in one big club. And when you point that out, you're a conspiracy theorist. Alina Habba in February on the Epstein list. We have flight logs, information, names that will come out. She lied to the American people.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Kash and Pam, there will be accountability.
Oh, really? With Kash and Pam, there's going to be accountability? The same Kash, who is the FBI director, who said that the FBI director has the power to release these documents, and now he is not releasing these documents? That Kash? I want to show you this clip that Asmongold posted where he basically exposes Kash just so clearly. So clearly. Take a look at this.
Oh, here we go. Let's listen to this.
Kash Patel, current director of the FBI, 6 months ago, right before he started.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing?
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word or whoever that guy is as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything.
Man.
And we can't even get basic documents out. And this is why I'm tired of the Republican majority saying they're going to get.
I think a lot of people are. Yeah. No, I sure think a lot of people are. I don't know what to say. Either he has a target or his family got bought out. I don't know, man. I wonder why.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
That is that I mean, there's
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
You see how these people are an absolute joke and they're all corrupt? He is now the FBI director and he's not releasing the documents. He basically threw a little fit on camera about how outraged he was that these documents hadn't come out. And now he has the power to release them and he's not. But remember, these people are not going to get away with this. Ecclesiastes 12:14. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing. Every secret thing, not some secret things. All of these wicked people who are covering up for liars, for slanderers, for deceivers, all of these people who have bore false witness, all of these disgusting people who have done just outrageous, vile things to children, they will be exposed. They will be exposed, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So whatever secret thing you've done, it will be exposed. People don't like the truth. And these people who are covering up for Epstein, they will be exposed. There's no way they're going to get away with it. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you want to support my content, various ways to do so in the description box below. Also check out my website, saintavs.com. I make these watches myself. I put a lot of time and effort into every single one. So if you want to pick one up, they're currently on sale. So check out my website, saintavs.com. Also, if you want to check out my purely Christian content, check out my second channel, AVS Talks. Remember to like and share this video so people get to know the truth, uncensored, what the mainstream will never tell you, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, I nearly actually forgot. Shalom, shalom. Y'all bless your family.
Grab something epic at www.saintavs.com.